Who's ready for some? Wait for it, wait for it. Oh shit, table down. Who's ready for? Oh, it was raining too. Who's ready for some boom, baby? Boom! Rise and shine. That's right, even this overcasty day, even if it's windy and blowing the chairs away, and maybe it's not such a nice, wonderful day, it's even blowing the air pod down, trying to make everything fall, and I'm trying to start it up, y'all. This conversation is the morning motivation. I'm Mark Saint. This is Saint's Addiction, and this morning I wanted to talk about what if we got what we wanted in the first place before it became a big catastrophe, before it became a murder, before something really bad happens. This is Saint's Addiction. Leg out, like, share, and subscribe. So, having a tough time. My cousin dying, you know. And what would have happened if I had like more money? You know what I mean? Let's see this thing. Is this thing the end? Yeah, it's trying to be crafty. If I had more money, he wouldn't have been chasing it. You know, if I had more time with him, maybe he would have been healed. It's hard to see once you got I got the sun towards me, but it's one of those happen. I didn't get too much of a boom baby boom this morning because my friend's sleeping, and this is my reaction, you know. I think a lot of people, this is just what I always say, it's a phrase for me. A lot of people, most people, or a lot of people, I think a lot of people would not be in the situation, the big situation that they're in. Of course, people are going by here left, right, and straight. There's literally no one coming by. As soon as I go live, it's everybody and their mama. Wait, what? There's one more, like I said. Wait, there's another tool. Anyway, I'm watching this beautiful ocean view or mountain ridge and having a conversation with my morning Jay. And I just thought, what if someone had hugged you when you were a kid, before you became a criminal or a prisoner, or before you became a prostitute? What if someone had hugged you and told you that they loved you? Something so small but significant should have taken place years ago before this ended up happening. Now, not all people, mostly saints here, you know, we got the halos and horns. Not everybody's going to be perfect. That's just not possible. I'm saying like this small amount of energy was saints giving, that before you got kicked out, before you're getting repossessed, before you're getting, what's the word called when you're getting evicted, before all this takes place, what if someone had helped with the electric bill? Saints giving $300, single mom, 3 kids. If we all gave $1, we only need 300 people, and boom, the bill's taken care of. Before the, what do they call that? They call them a, I've had them at my house before the, what's the name of them called? Of course, more traffic. More traffic. Yeah. Before the constable shows up and is kicking everyone out, like I see a lot of videos, what's happening once Trump cut the food stamps and the Section 8 housing, which my mom is on, but luckily her stuff wasn't affected. But long before the molehill becomes a mountain, I think someone just needed a hug, maybe needed a chance or an opportunity. What's up, dude? Bearded dude, but bald. I'm glad I'm not bearded but not bald. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing my own thing without worrying. I'm wondering why he's outside of my house, but whatever. He's just taking pictures. There you go, tourist baby. But I'm taking pictures of my life and thinking, if I only had some a couch to crash on, someone to tell me that they love me. I'm thinking that the Saints Giving app needs to have emergency relief for all of us that have lost people to suicide or depression or just a bad life. What if, just what if, you can really talk to somebody? You know, I've been doing this a long time, and I called the 911 number. They said, "Oh yeah, I had my psychologist, Don Dylon, I'll never forget, and on her voicemail it said if this is an emergency, call 911 and ask to speak with somebody." Well, I did, and it turned out that they sent cops to the house. I was sitting there naked with the dog, just eating my cornbread, and they broke in, or she let them in, and I had to be taken out naked on a gurney in the back of an ambulance. It was embarrassing. And obviously I wasn't completely out of my mind, so they didn't have to hold me for 72 hours, but I just got fired. I was really emotional, and I just wanted to talk to somebody instead of having 6 different police officers sent to my house, scale the walls, escalate the situation, and almost break down the door and freak out my girlfriend when all I wanted was a shower and someone to talk to. That's what it takes. You know, what if someone had talked to you before you committed suicide? What if I had talked to my cousin before he went over there and gave him some money? What if, you know, ifs and buts, candy and nuts, needs and wants? This is what's going on in my head, that before these needs become really big and people are like, man, I can't handle your 30 grand in debt, but I can handle $1 to give you for your phone bill or your electricity or, you know, your kid's tuition, whatever it is. It's almost like GoFundMe or something to this effect. People love giving, and especially when it's needed the most. And this is where it's like, why are we missing these opportunities to hit the marker before it becomes a mountain? Why did we not establish the molehill before it became insurmountable? Yep, and now you're having the same question as me. And I'm wondering why these things never took place. Why did they not get rendered in time, or why didn't it become to fruition? And now you're wishing my cousin was alive, and now you're wishing things didn't happen, and now you're sitting there praying and hoping that this could have been a reality, but nobody wants to be in on it. They don't want to pull the trigger. They're too scared, and they're too alone to know who to ask for help. I was watching it with Mike Tyson, bless up to him, but he's a scared little boy, and he's fighting everyone away because he's so fucking scared. But he started crying. He was exposed, and I think if we all were a little bit more exposed, you know, instead of hiding behind this fake reality or the facade of having our shit together and say, I'm broken. Just like I watched Jim Carrey said, I'm a broken human being that uses entertainment to fulfill the need of validity. And even in the morning, I was horny, and I was like, I want someone close to me. I want to have morning sex. And it's like most of us masturbate because we can't make someone appear and be there. Or we reach out through social media and hope that we find connection when we're more disconnected than ever. And if only we had somebody just magically, Miss America, show up and start offering those free blowjobs, you know, we're always going to be chasing. We're always going to feel empty, and then we're going to go look for it in different ways that aren't healthy. And this is why I'm having this conversation this morning. It was just like, you know, life is such a struggle. It's hard to find outlets that work effectively and healthily. I always use that word healthily because I just don't know else how to explain it. But to get what we need, not what we want, because the wants are just too many. I'm talking about the necessity of food, clothing, and shelter, love, and space. That's what is healthy for human beings. And it's in touch too. I mean, we're all touch starved. I know dudes that'll think that they're going to work harder and longer, and then all of a sudden they're going to get the girl, but then the girl only wants the money and she leaves shortly thereafter. I know women that would be really good wives and mothers, but they can't seem to get a guy to step up and be what they need. And this is what's happening. We're missing our needs, and they're really real. A sexual need is as strong as a coffee need. The sense of touch and affection it's up there, bro. It just works on our brains, just like pornography. So you can watch the similarity of affection, or you can really be touched and feel the affection. And this is why we usually get on ourselves or Tinder whatever. I can still feel the heat on this, but let me light this up. This is the morning motivation button. All of us, there's a need, there's a want and a need, and we seek to fulfill it in every way that we can. My poor cousin thought it was in alcohol. He thought he was going to get pissed enough to miss the bus, go punk some dude for some money that wasn't even over $1,000, and to lose his life and get shot twice, once in the collarbone and once in the groin, and led to bleed out for an hour while this guy had killed his ass, and he just died on the ground, left for dead. It hurts my feeling. But I wasn't part of that money transaction. And I wasn't part of the rescue party either. I mean, many a times I called and said, come on, cuz, you know, I'll send you some weed. I'm going to send you some cartridges. I'm going to send you some love. Trying to get him out of that depression. And I don't think I could have lifted him out with a forklift. He needed his daddy. His dad died too early. He needed his father. And for years he was depressed after. And I said, your kids need you, bro. Yeah, dog, your kids need you. You're dying early because your father died early, and now you're dead early, and now your kids are going to go through the same thing. This is almost insurmountable. 2 early deaths, and now he's got 5 children. I wonder what's going to happen to them. Little Saint Bernard, named after me, looking just like his father. What's he going to do without a dad? You think he's going to grow up with anger? And we all what we want. We want to have the sex, but we don't want to have the baby. We have the baby, but we don't want to have the relationship. We don't want to have the marriage. We desperately need each other, but we keep talking about don't need a man, don't need a woman. And in this, the situation that created bees and flowers, man and woman, you know, and evolution through procreation, sexuality, everybody just gets starved. We're all touch starved. We're all disconnected. We don't talk to our families as much as we should. The family unit is getting broken. And the fallback plan is just not there. We're just falling through these netless, bro. Netless. It's like the fucking, what did they call them in Barnum and Bailey? I forget their names. They were the great family that would spin around in the air, but they had a net, bro. They had a net, and most people nowadays, there's no fallback plan. I know I ain't got a fallback plan. I'll make some money this month. Hopefully she lets me stay here some longer, you know. And I don't spend that much time with my family. I spend more time overseas, and there's so many things that we need. And I was just saying, what if we got it? What if, not what if, when I make Saintsgiving the app, you could reach out and say, hey, you know, I need someone to talk to. Before I'm all hopped up on drugs in a swimming pool, in a bathtub, about to drop the toaster, what if I had gotten up and made it more of a reality? What if I had made myself more of a, had gotten more help before it became so insurmountable? I fed the homeless for 10 years. And most of these guys are only one Greyhound bus wide away from getting to their family and getting to a circle of influence, people that can help them. But if we're far away from help and we're far away from friends and we don't have any uplinks, there's no limit to how far you go down that toilet bowl. I've been down the toilet bowl, totally flush, man, getting out of jail. No home, nobody, no car. Got to spend another $1,000 to get my own car out so I can sleep in it and be safe and out of the elements and be mobile. What if that was all it took was just a job opportunity? You know, so many people that I know where it's like they lose their job, they almost lose their life. They start getting suicidal, just like my story. You know, it's like I'm worthless all of a sudden. And that's the top. That's what I'm talking about. Reach, preach, and teach. You got to reach out and touch somebody. Let them know you love them. Let them know they matter to you. I got 4 friends coming, and I'm just gonna suck them all up because I need that male energy that I lost just from my cousin. I need that male camaraderie that I have friends on this planet that I can call when my mental health isn't so strong. That there are people that love me and want to see me, to celebrate them while they're still alive instead of just going through life, you know? So I played a hypothetical this morning. What if he got more hugs? What if he got more love? What if he got the money from me or from everybody, from GoFundMe or Saints Giving, and didn't have to go chase that money down so he could get murdered? Getting murdered for money and for such a small amount. Life is worth so much, and now my poor cousin Tavi, he's getting inundated with fucking phone calls. Everybody trying to find out what happened with his brother, and his brother just died, and he don't want to talk about it. So, we all need that hug. We all need that leg up, man. We just need a little bit more help so we can get by whatever seems to be plaguing us at that time. And I'm just trying to get to the source, the mountain. I'm trying to get to the top of the mountain, but I'm trying to handle it while it's a molehill. It's really hard when somebody's already evicted, and it's happened to me. I got my car repoed. I got fired. I got evicted. I lost my girlfriend, and it was all bad. Like, there was like 5 things that had happened to me in like matter of 2 weeks, and it just destroyed me. That's when I was being suicidal. That's when I was being like, okay, I don't care if I die in this apartment. You know, um, just let it all burn. And I couldn't sleep it away. I kept sleeping later and getting insomnia and going 4 a.m. to get ice cream at the store and all these things. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be just so much easier if my girlfriend had came back, or I got another job, or my feelings didn't hurt? But I was hurt, and I was no condition to find a new job. I was depressed. I let everything just slide, and nothing slid away. I realized quickly that I was waking up as myself, and in a worse position. And I needed to help myself to get out of that position. I remember looking down, and my belly was so big I couldn't even see my own dick. So I was like, it's time to lose weight. It's time to go travel the world. I'm almost 30. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. This was 15 years ago, 2025. I left in 2029, 17 years ago. And it's made the biggest difference. Now I've kept the weight off. Every time I go to Thailand, the weight comes off. You know what I'm saying? And I do my sit-ups, and I do my exercise, and I play my Frisbee. And I went yesterday to that beach because I was like, if I don't, it'll destroy me. My cousin would want me near a beach to watch a sunset, to play some Frisbee, to have a shake, to feel good. Part of my depression was just stay here, stay inside, be depressed, have no appetite. And I was just like, no, go get yourself a shake. That's what you like. Go out on the beach. That'll make you happy. And have the same thoughts that I could have had in my room alone, but have it on the beach, at least with a walk, at least with some music, at least with a shake. I started to slowly feel a little bit better. And I know my cousin doesn't want me to get in depression and get shot like him. I know that for facts. And I know he would like me to get laid and have some children. It was really sad that when I lost my baby, that our kids would have been about the same age. I had about 3 friends that had kids right around the same time. Ryan, what's his name, Dave, and my cousin Herman, and we all could have been there. My kid would have already had 3 best friends. And what if a psychologist had reached my girlfriend at the time before she had postpartum depression, or postpartum depression, or prepartum depression? Maybe she wouldn't have been in such a dark spot to want to lose the child, or maybe I pushed her there by starting to pressure her and be abusive and physically violent. Um, What if someone saved me before my dad had got physically violent with me? You know, when I stopped myself, I saw my father in me, and there was something that I need. I got daddy issues, you know, and I have no relationship with my father, and I have no uncle. So I've been on this earth, traveling the world, figuring out on my damn self what kind of man I am, what a man is, and to make myself into a man. So we all need something. Maybe it's a mom, maybe it's a dad, maybe it's a hug, you know. That one person is going through this earth without feeling all these feelings, and nobody wants to be alone. Who wants to be alone? And everybody loves being touched. You know, you start caressing yourself, it feels good, it's soothing. It's the magic. People are the magic. People are the solution. In Matrix, they're the battery. You know, that's our source of energy, is real people getting close to friends. You could eat the same dinner, but eating them with friends, you get more dopamine. You know, talking with them, you know, that's why people go to bars. Your bartender's not your psychologist, but you start talking to them. And if it was that simple, you could get on Saintsgiving, the app, and just go, I need someone to talk to, you know. And for somebody that's lost someone to suicide, they'd be willing to volunteer and listen to you so another person doesn't lose their life or get murdered or keep and stay in a depression. You know, we tend to isolate ourselves when we don't feel soothed. Now we feel all alone, and it's almost like a dog, you know, the hind teat, you know, the runt of the litter, and we isolate ourselves and we cut ourselves off from some of the best medicine that's out there, and that's other people, that's exercise, and that's adventure. So we lose the spark. It started to numb me. I can almost feel the depression sinking in, and I wasn't going to lose myself like his girlfriend had told me. She called me, Nicole called me and said, you know, I didn't want to lose myself. You know, these kids need me. And now she's got to raise their kids without him. And that was her best friend. So there's a mountain in everyone. You know, there's a battle that no one else can see. I'm trying to do some negotiating or some peace talks and talk to people peacefully before they are depressed, before they are suicidal, before they are murdered, before the things get so bad that it's too big to climb. I'm looking at this mountain ridge and I'm just like, sometimes those molehills become hard to climb, bro. You know, I'm looking at it right now. And sure, it came up flat, but it sure went up pretty quick. So if someone had gave you a guide or a map or some help before all of this became crazy and insane, then all of a sudden we can all have the possibilities for happiness, the possibilities for an exit, the possibilities to heal ourselves. This is what everybody keeps talking about, self-care and healing routines and diet and exercise, right? This is subscribing to human beings and going like, I need a better set of friends. I need physical outlets. Maybe I need to join the basketball league. Maybe I need to join the chess club. Maybe I just need to be social and go hang out at the same coffee shop, you know? Be the type of person to start talking to other people and finding out what events they're going to and go to those events. Boldly go. I know a lot of people that isolate themselves because they're socially anxious. You know, they just get weird around other people and then they don't know how to act. And I'm weird, you're weird, we're all weird. You know, sometimes you say things that maybe people don't laugh, or maybe they give you that look, or maybe you feel judged. It's all of us, but we definitely need to go source it. So if little lambs can climb dams to start licking the salt, you know, you can too. You know, you need to source the salt, the minerals, the love that we all seek. We got to find it in different sources. I find it in a lot of male friends since I don't have a father. I find love through my models and different women. I try to practice it. And I also get a pseudo family from my Thai family that I live with here. This is their shop. You're looking at the roof of the shop. But, you know, they also built this out too. This to be all motorcycles and shit, and now it's apartments. So we seek it out whether we know it or not. Maybe we aren't so cognizant of the dopamine pathways that we chase, but trust and believe, if that baby goat goes all the way up the dam to lick some salt, you will too. You will find a way to go get the salt, get the love, or get the sex the way that we want to. We all have it in us. You find a way to get your coffee, you find a way to get your cigarette, and you find a way to get your cannabis. Isn't that right, Solomon? Yeah, you're a mint, bro. You're the man, bro.
You're the man.
You're the man, bro. I just want to be. I want to be like you when I grow up.
You're famous.
No, bro. I'm just trying to be like you. I'm only frisbee famous, you know. Yeah, I'm only famous when I got a frisbee. Yeah, bro. See ya. Enjoy your day. And that's it, spreading smiles. I find it in my friends. I find it in my beach time. I find it in my frisbee. You got to get yourself a high sticker too. And all these things in my adventures and in my view, looking at this beautiful mountain, even if it's an overcasty day. Some people get it, some people don't, and when you don't, it gets bigger. That molehill becomes a mountain, and the mountain doesn't come to Muhammad. Muhammad has to transform himself, get the inner power, get the willpower and the source power, and say, I'm going to climb this mountain no matter what, and I'm going to get to the top of it, and nothing's going to stop me. Not the loss of a baby, not the loss of my cousin, and not the loss of money. I don't care. Inevitably, I'll be at the top of the hill, baby, and looking down at all the obstacles, and there's plenty of them. There's a lot of pitfalls, like I said, the loss of jobs, and then the loss of girlfriends, and then the loss of cars or homes or whatever it is. I'm still me, and I still have to wake up and be me. I still have to go into the game and be free, and maintain my own energy, so that way I can execute these things. And if it wasn't for taking bold action, going all the way around the world, I mean, I'm all the way here in fucking Thailand and shit, and I was just in Vietnam, and I was just in Finland. I'm traveling the world, healing myself, hopefully healing others, who knows. Maybe I healed Solomon this morning by making him smile. Who knows? But it's easy lifting at this point. It's light work. Just the smile, just the friendly comment. Just the quick hug. If we did more of that, this is my theory this morning, motivation. Just hear me out. If we did more of that before the person had 30 years of abuse, before the person is on suicide watch, before the person is in the prison system, like before any of that takes place, I wish that we could reach them at the source in the first place, before it becomes this big firework, before it becomes this big rocket and a time bomb. Let's figure it out before it starts ticking. Let's get to some healthy dopamine pathways, so it's not superficial and it wears out, because our brains are going to seek it. If you stop drinking, you're going to have to replace it with hanging out with some friends, or maybe most people, they start doing cigarettes more, or food more, or sex more. I don't know, but it's hard for us to just lose dopamine and just quit something. We usually pair it with something else, or use chocolate and sex, like the other girl was saying the other day. So we'll see if I'll be her sexual chocolate. But it's one of those things where I just think it's just so insurmountable, especially with this mountain in front of me. I just got to say it, it's like huge, and it's beautiful and green, and it's Jumanji, and it's Jurassic Park all in one. It's the Land Before Time. It's also insurmountable. Like, nobody walks all the way up there. No one just hikes in there. The trees are just so dense, and there's so many snakes, spiders, and monkeys that could attack you. And, what if you had taken the opportunity to create a pathway, do the work ahead of time? What if you had your friends help you create the pathway? Hell, what if you ordered a bulldozer and it created the pathway? These are the things that I'm trying to say. This is the life that I'm trying to explain. Is there's so much action that we can take in the now to alleviate the pain of the future. So that's what you're doing. You're doing yourself a favor. You're doing yourself a service by doing the exercise in the morning. So when the depression likes to kick in, your oxytocin is still there and it fights it away. Do yourself a favor by getting on a diet and having a morning routine that's healthy for you. So that way you can bust up the rhythm of the other rhythm that just wants to make you depressed, get in a blanket and not get out of bed. And then, have some goals for the day. You already planned it the night before. The pre-planning is a big deal, but to execute them the next day and say, that's what I really want. So I tell my feelings what I want instead of my feelings telling me what I want. And then I get what I really, really want instead of getting, I get what I need instead of what I really want. So, the needs need to be taken care of. This is a necessity. This is a human necessity. The touching, the feeling, the sharing. This is how, just like these monkeys in these trees, this is how we evolved. So for somebody that just lost a lost soul, I wish I had enough money to had gave it to him instead of him getting murdered. And I wish I'd called him more. And even Lord knows I did. I reached out all the time, and I wish he never went back to drinking. And the owner of Saints Addiction couldn't even reach him. So that's on my heart from the start. This is the morning motivation. If you got anything out of this, you already know. Like, share, and subscribe below. And as always, Chigatan. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finnish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. But the other side of your fear, the other side of your excuses, and the other side of the world, because that's where I'll be. Peace. Yep.